evening, I'd like to start off by telling you a story about a family. They lived in the Delmar Laurel area, and Mr. and Mrs. They were addicted to drugs. They were homeless, and they had 5 children. Mrs. moved from one hotel room to the other. They were in homeless shelters, inside of cars, and one time they were even inside of someone's backyard shed. As they kept moving, the parents were dealing and using drugs. One night, when their youngest was 5 and their oldest was 15, the police and family services called up to the family. They lived in a hotel room and the police bursted in. Mr. and Mrs. were arrested for drug offenses and the children were all put into foster care immediately. When the biological parents sat in prison and their children were split up, they moved one foster home to the other. The parents showed little desire to get the children back, and the state took away their parental rights to the children. Over the next 5 years, the children struggled because they'd never been attended school before, and they'd never seen doctors or dentists, and above all, they were angry and scared and didn't trust any adults. The youngest child, for example, was lucky because he didn't remember most of the things that happened to the biological family, and because he was so young. But however, he had been in 12 different foster homes. He moved for various reasons, but none of them were his own fault. But each time, it chipped away his self-esteem a little bit. By the time he was 9, his latest foster parents were getting divorced, and he was about to go back into the foster care system. The boy didn't think his life could get any worse, but then something amazing happened. He moved in with a loving family, and they adopted him. I want to talk to you all and explain to you how your family could be one of those loving families and adopt a foster child. And in addition to getting a good grade on this project, I'm going to convince you all to go home and talk with your parents on becoming a good foster family. My thesis for the project was that your family should consider opening your homes to a foster child. In Delaware, there are many kids who need great homes. As of Monday this week, there were 687 foster kids in the system in Delaware. They range from infants to 17 years old, every race and every personality. As of 2 days ago, there are 144 kids in Sussex County that are available for adoption. And every week in Delaware, about 10 kids enter foster care. That was about family, and these are some of the statistics if you didn't get them written down. And this means that 10 kids, just like kids, were pulled away from their family during the worst, most scary moments of their lives and thrust into a home with strangers. It probably happened to a couple kids last night. Believe me, your homes and families will be better than where most of those kids are right now. This is the reason why foster children are in foster care. If you can read it, like neglect is the most. Neglect could go from being the child locked in a room for up to 3 days, just the parents not putting any effort into taking care of the child, leaving them places, and that's mainly what happened with the Burst family and why they were taken away. This is the ages that range for foster care. The kids that are in foster care, so the most is 11 to 15 years old that are in foster care, and the lowest is 19 because at 18 the children age out if they aren't adopted. And then this is the ethnicity of foster care, so you guys can do the statistics on it, the percentages. Also, a lot of the stereotypes of foster children are not true. They're not all criminals or have massive behavioral problems. Some of the most famous people in history that have changed the world were either foster children or were adopted. Steve Jobs was adopted, he was a foster child. Babe Ruth, John Lennon, Halle Berry, Malcolm X, and Marilyn Monroe. I think that's her name, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And even Edgar Allan Poe, who wrote the poem that our school is named after. Some of these people have changed the world, especially Malcolm X for black rights, and the people who adopted children, some of them return to their parents, but not all of them. In Delaware, there are about 41% of the foster kids end up moving back with their family. But even if they do, your home would have taught them what it's like to live in a loving home. It's not expensive or impossible to open your home, and the state gives you a check every month for up to $1,500 to house the children and take care of them. Your parents would have to attend classes. Usually these classes are at night. It could range from how to take care of a child, how to feed them, and all the way up to what types of hair to braid. And people will come to your house, like the social services or the caseworkers, and they'll explain to you, they'll interview everyone in the house to make sure the house is stable for a foster child, and they'll do things like inspect your house, make sure the water's not too hot when you turn it on. The whole process takes less than 6 months. Delaware has one of the best foster care systems in the country, but still children who are raised in foster care and they turn 18 don't have as lucky of lives. According to national statistics, by age 21, 70% do not graduate by the age of 19. 56% are unemployed by 21. 60% spend time in jail, end up spending time in jail, and 50% end up being addicted to drugs. This is when they turn 18 and they never are adopted because they're adults now. If your family is anything like mine, they'd be great foster homes, and sometimes it might not seem like your family's that great or it's amazing at your house, but getting you into Sussex Tech takes a lot of work with all the paperwork and the applications and politics, and it took a lot of work for them to get you into here, and they probably help you with your homework every night and make sure you do your homework, and they expect you to do well in school, and they probably spoil you with gifts on Christmas and any other holidays and birthdays, and they probably encourage you to be in extracurricular activities. Most of you would be great role models for the kids. You might not see yourself as a role model, but you're a great example of what a young person should be. Academically, the foster child might see you doing homework every night, and eventually the foster child will pull a chair up next to you and start doing the homework just to be like you. Socially, they'll see how you have friends, how you interact with people, how you interact with adults, and how to act properly at a restaurant. Athletically, many of the kids have never attended any sporting events, never even played catch, gone for a jog, or competed in any type of organized sport, because in foster care you really don't have the time to do that. And there's a reason why I'm so certain. Like all of you, I spent time in this speech doing the research and writing and practicing, but for me this was the easy part. The toughest part of this assignment was getting the guts to come up here and tell you this story. The story in the beginning of the speech about the family. Before I was adopted, my last name was, and I was the youngest child of the family, and I was that homeless 5-year-old whose life was so awful. The 5-year-old who lived in 12 different homes. The boy who'd never seen a doctor or dentist. Kid never learned to play baseball. I stand before you today, and like I said, it's not just an assignment for me. It was hard to get up here and tell this story. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Hi, this is Governor Jack Markell, and first I want to thank Robbie for inviting me to do this video. Robbie is one of the nicest kids I have ever met, and I really like this project he's doing. I think it'd be wonderful for more Delaware families to consider being foster parents.
The reason I'm up here telling you this personal story is because there's probably a kid out there, just like me, who might move into a great home because I told this story. And I'm telling this story to help that kid. Today, at this moment, there's a foster kid somewhere in Sussex County sitting at a desk who hears his other kids' friends talking about how baseball practice is, going to sleepovers, summer camps, and that foster kid sitting there in his hand-me-down clothes is wondering if he'll ever have a family like that, like theirs. He's wondering what he did to deserve this. But that kid doesn't know I'm standing up here, spilling my guts out, and he doesn't know that many of you will go home and to work on your parents. Some of your parents will consider it. He doesn't know that at least one of you will do it, become a foster family. In 4 months, he'll walk into your home. He'll be speechless as he's shown his room, somewhere he can live, and shown where the bikes are kept. He'll be introduced to the dog, and when he hugs your parents and when he hugs you, it'll seem like the best decision you've ever made. Thank you.